Hello folks, you join me today heading to one of my favourite doggy filming spots to record a review of the Honda CRV. This is the plug-in hybrid version of the car, and whenever I get a plug-in hybrid in for review, I'm always left with this one question, and that question is why? Now, for some people, particularly company car drivers that aren't ready to go full EV, a plug-in hybrid could make a lot of sense. It could save you a lot of money in company car tax, and it does offer you sort of possibly the best of both worlds. But in their current form, are we pitching things slightly wrong? This one I'm in at the moment, this CRV, it's got an all-electric range of about 60 miles, which is actually pretty good for a plug-in hybrid, really good actually. And it's a lovely thing, don't get me wrong, like, it is a lovely car. But to get the plug-in hybrid version, you have to go to the very top level of spec. This one's 54 grand that I'm sitting in at the moment. You could go a step down with the standard hybrid and save yourself in the order of 5 grand. And you could go further down still. I think the entry point for one of these in standard hybrid form is about 46 grand. So there's quite a discernible difference in price. And the question you have to ask yourself is, are you ever going to see that back? You know, that price that you've paid as a premium to get yourself into a plug-in hybrid, are you ever going to see that back in fuel savings or perhaps congestion charge savings, etc.? At £5,000, that's going to take you a few years, even if you run the car as an EV most of the time. And even if you're just using it to sort of reduce your fuel consumption and make for better MPG figures, it's still going to take you a little while. And obviously, if you would have gone for this car at 46 grand and you have to go to the top of the range at 54 grand, it's going to take you even longer to recoup that difference in price. Now, the point I'm probably trying to badly make here is that this car's still got a 2-litre petrol engine in it, and it's only got enough battery range for 60 miles, which, as I said, is very good for a plug-in hybrid. But should we be thinking differently? Should we be looking at primarily electric cars with a small petrol generator on board? Obviously, BMW did it years ago with the i3. We had the range extender, and that was essentially a petrol engine that you could run and you could put in, I don't know, an extra 40-50 miles of range, whatever it was. I'm sure someone will correct me in the comments, but you had essentially an all-electric battery vehicle that you could run with a bit of petrol if push came to shove. And should we be looking for more of a blend? Instead of, I mean, in this car you can run it as full EV, or you can run it on petrol and battery together. But should we perhaps be considering more cars that run primarily on their battery power, and then you fire up the petrol engine just when you want to put range in, and you possibly are not going to be able to make it to the next charger, or you don't have time to stop and charge, and you want a little bit more? Obviously, it costs so much more than a standard petrol car to get one of these, because not only do we have the standard petrol engine, we've also got the batteries. But obviously, once you've depleted the battery range in one of these, you're just driving a very heavy petrol car essentially, and that's not massively efficient or cost effective. So what I'm really asking is, would it be less of a compromise to have a battery electric car with, say, 200 miles of range and a small petrol generator on board, maybe 1 litre, 1.5 litre petrol generator on board, and a small fuel tank that would allow you to put another 60 to 80 miles of range on top of the car, should you wish to do so? Let's say it's impossible for you to go and charge the car, or time just doesn't allow you to stop and charge the car. You might have meetings to go to. Is that a more workable solution for you? Now, as things stand, that's still not going to come cheap, because you're going to have to spend more money on batteries than you would in this car, and you've still got to have an engine. What you don't need to do is worry about how you connect that engine up to the wheels, and it essentially just has to work as a generator to charge the batteries, which you would imagine requires far less engineering than coming up with a complex system like we've got here in the Honda CRV. But if we take the cost out of it, would it make it easier and more practical for some people, especially those company car drivers that really benefit from a plug-in hybrid at the moment? Would it make it easier and more practical for them to drive a primarily battery powered vehicle today than perhaps getting something like this, where you've got a bit of range, but when that range runs out, you know, you've got a fairly inefficient petrol vehicle at the end of the day? I'm interested to know your thoughts. Don't get me wrong, I like a plug-in hybrid and I can see all sorts of use cases for it, particularly if you lease one at the right price. But as a private buyer, would I want to sink 54 grand into this car thinking about how much money I'm going to save? No, I'd probably go for the £46,000 one and think about the money I've saved there, because the day-to-day savings on running costs are not going to be epic. They're not going to repay that 8,000 quid anywhere near quickly enough for me. But if you're someone that can charge at home and you're really keen on reducing your tailpipe emissions, this car can help you do that, and the range it has got is at least usable. You know, gone are the days of getting a plug-in hybrid that does 19 miles or something. But at the moment, I feel like probably 90% of people buying a plug-in hybrid are company car drivers that literally get one because of the tax savings, and a lot of them are probably driving them with no charge in them or not charging them very often, and are therefore using more fuel than they otherwise would, and that sort of defeats the object of the whole thing. So what do you think, folks? Let me know in the comments. Do you think I'm stark raving mad, or do you think that it's time manufacturers take the idea of plug-in hybrid and turn it on its head a little bit? Do you think that that would mean that more people use a plug-in hybrid as it's intended, and do you think it'd be actually far easier for people to move over to something that's primarily battery powered rather than petrol powered today? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I know this video is a bit of a shambles, by the way, and I'm rambling on for a lot of it, but it's something I've been thinking about for a long time, and I've just... Sorry if I've rambled through that, but it's something that's been in the back of my mind for weeks, and I've got the opportunity at the moment to share those thoughts with you, and I'd really like to hear yours. So leave a comment, give the video a thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.